And welcome to our live. I am so excited to be live with you on YouTube, officially live on YouTube. And we are trying something new today. Normally, I go live in our Facebook group at Club Scrap. And we thought about moving our lives over to YouTube officially. And I didn't want to just go cold turkey. I wanted to just experiment and try a little bit before I launch an official monthly collection. So question number one is, can you hear me okay? I am using a new microphone and I'm really hoping that it works well. And I've got a screen, a secondary screen. So if I'm looking away, it's because I'm looking at the chat and the comments and watching those come through. Oh, I can see the Club Scrap says it sounds good. Yay. Thank you, Craig. I'm glad it's working perfectly. I'm so relieved. All right, so the reason I decided to go live today is because project I wanted to share with you. And right now it's going to be graduation season, and maybe you're scrambling to figure out a fabulous gift to give to someone, perhaps something you can make with something you already have in your stash, if you happen to have a stash. And I've come up with this really fun little formula to make a project that may have been out there already. It's a zigzag gift card holder. But what's unique about what we do at Club Scrap is that we give you formulas so that you can make the most of both your time and your materials, very little wasted of either, right? Don't waste your time, don't waste your materials. Use my formulas and we're gonna make some really cool zigzag cards. I'm basically using, let's see, I'm using 3 sheets of plain paper, 12 by 12 paper. If you have that, you can even grab some. I'm using 1 sheet of text weight printed paper, and I'm using 1 sheet of a light colored paper that I can stamp on. Plus, I've got some stamps handy that are going to coordinate with everything, and I happen to be working with a collection called Inspired. And this is actually sort of designed for graduation season anyway. The things that inspire you, the things that you are proud of, that's what the Inspired Kit is all about. So if you don't yet have one of these beautiful Inspired Kits, whether you're a member of Club Scrap or not, we have those available at our website. Now, at the end of this, you're probably going to be looking for instructions that you'll be able to print. And if you're a Club Scrap member, you're in luck because we will send those instructions to you directly, even if you don't ask for them. You'll be just getting an email that will give you a link back to the video and a link to you can download the instructions. Those are going to be updated after the show. And if you're not, just come back onto this YouTube video and look in the description. We will give you a link so that you can find those instructions as well. So everyone should be all set with their instructions, and then you'll have this video to look back to, and you can follow along to make your own gift card. At least that's the plan. That's the plan for today. So the next thing I need to do is flip the camera over so that you can see my work surface. And yes, yay for Member Appreciation Week, because we really do appreciate all of you. And now I have to just see what my work surface looks like. Can I zoom in? Those are things I need to learn. Oh, there it went. I went a little too far. Okay. Does that look okay? Maybe I'll just go in a little bit. So there's a little delay in what I'm seeing on my computer screen versus what you're seeing. Okay, all right. Yes, there, I think I have it. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I've got my trimmer here, and I also have my accordion pocket file. Now, I use this to stay organized. I don't have specific pocket assignments for this particular project, but I'm still gonna use it because I like to stay organized when I'm trimming my papers. I'll set aside the samples, but let me just quick again show you. This is the card we're making. So it's really cute. It doesn't open up or stand up. It just has a flat base, then that printed panel, and then this just kind of folds out, and then there's a pocket where you can insert the gift card, and I've tested it. The gift card fits perfectly into the pocket. You can see I've decorated it with some stamps, some washi tape, some elements from that beautiful Inspired kit, and then I've got my instructions. So basically what's different about the way I approach my stuff here is a lot of times when you start a project, it'll say you need a panel that's this size, and a nesting paper that's this size, and then an accordion this size. That's not how I work. The way I work is that I help you create all the pieces of the appropriate size while making the most of your paper. So just, if you've never done it my way before, just follow along with me and see how cool this works. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that you need to pay attention to the grain direction of the paper so that when we do score and fold on this accordion, that we're doing that with the grain and not against it. So I've got a little always information about that in the instructions. There's going to be an arrow, so that will indicate the way the paper needs to bend most easily. So I'm taking this sheet of this beautiful light green or medium green paper rather from the Inspired Kit, and I'm gonna just hold it by the center of an edge and just kind of see how the paper behaves. Like, to me, this feels like it wants to bend in this direction, but let's compare. This, no, it does not want to bend in that direction. It does want to bend in this direction. It's even noisy. It's like, no, I don't want to bend. This is like, I'm happy to bend in this way. All right, then I'm going to take a second sheet because we might as well trim both sheets at the same time since the recipe for trimming is the same. Once again, it wants to go this way. It doesn't want to go that way. So bending easily top to bottom. Then I'll just stack those papers neatly together. And again, I'm using a guillotine type trimmer that is capable of cutting through 2 sheets of 80-pound cover weight at the same time, which is pretty remarkable. And my first cut I'm going to find is at 9 inches. So after I make sure the paper is level at the top, I'll push down on the clear bar to stabilize it and keep it from moving, and then just slices right through. I'll move this down now to 4.5. So you've got to have some little bit measuring knowledge here. All right, now I'm going to rotate this paper and trim it at 9 3/4. Now these 2 pieces need to be scored. That will grow up to become the little fold out here. So I'm going to set these aside so I can score them in a minute. And there's this little piece that fell. We're actually going to trim this at 4 1/4, basically taking off a tiny little piece. So whenever I cut, the plan I always make is that the bulk of the paper stays on the base of the trimmer and the scraps fall off the end. So this, I'm just going to put it in my little organizer there, and I'm going to pick up the next pair of pieces that fell, and once again cut at 9 3/4. Now mind you, we are making 4 cards, okay? They're all going to be the same, but they'll be different colors. So these pieces get set aside. Once again, the piece that fell will cut at 4 1/4. All right, then this piece will go in my organizer. The 2 little scrappies fell from the end, and now I just have this last little strip. 2 cuts on this, the first one at 8 1/2, and the second one at 4 1/4. If you've never used this method before, you're going to be like, oh, you're going way too fast. Well, I recommend just watching it once and then come back and press pause as much as you need. Okay, so here we've got these little panels. I'm going to set those in my organizer. And then you've got these odd-shaped rectangles. Those actually are scraps, I'm sorry to say. They're kind of big for scraps for me, but that's how it goes. Now we have this other sheet, and this is the aqua color from the Inspired Kit, and it's really heavy duty, which is why I chose it to be the base of my cards. And this time we don't have to worry about the grain direction because we're not going to fold this paper. So any old way into the trimmer, I'll cut at 11 1/2, then 8 1/2, and 4 1/4. I just want to quick interrupt and show you this. I'm on the second step, which when you get your instructions, you'll be able to follow along. And basically, I'm just reading this to you and then showing it to you at the same time. Now, this piece that's in your trimmer base and the one that just fell, I think they're going to be the same size if everything went according to my plan. And we'll cut them together at 11 and 5 1/2. And that's going to give us our 4 card bases, which I'll put into my organizer. And you've got 2 little strips. You can use those if you want or not. And then we have this wider strip here. I'll cut again at 8 1/2. We've done this before. And 4 1/4. Now the 2 larger pieces can join their friends of the same size. So we have some others in there that are the same. And then this, once again, is a scrap along with the long strip here. Okay, now I have my print. This is a text weight. We've switched in recent months to a text weight print for our monthly card kit prints, just to keep the weight of the card a little bit lighter since we primarily work with those heavier cardstocks. I'm going to start here at 10 1/2. Once again, the grain direction doesn't matter, no folding. And then 5 1/4. So you have to know your quarters, halves, 3/4, and wholes. That was 5 1/4. Now rotate this 5¼ inch piece and trim at 8 and 4. And all of these pieces, I'm just going to add them to my organizer, doesn't matter where, just so I can see them. And then this next strip, I'll cut at 10, 7, and 4. Okay, so here we have one more 4-inch piece. It has some friends. Now you have 2 narrower pieces that fell. Let's trim them at the same time. They should be the same size at 4¼ and then these can join their friends in my organizer. And the rest of these pieces, I regret to inform you, once again, are scraps, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Again, not compared to how it can be if I just give you a list of different sizes and you randomly cut them. Now this next piece, I just grabbed some plain white. And you might have like scraps or smaller pieces you could use to make stamping surfaces, but if you notice on my finished pieces, I do have this area stamped. So I'm going to show you how to make a dozen stamping panels for all these cards. So you could literally put one here and here on each card. That would make 8, but you can use these if you want, or just skip this step if you want to trim your own stamping panels. I just thought you would find it helpful. So I'm going to have you take the white, and again, we're not folding it. We don't have to care about the grain direction. I'll have you cut at 8 and 4. Now rotate the 4-inch piece so it's horizontal and cut at 11, 8¼ 5½, and 2¾ It's a common measurement I use, if you can't tell. And you just made all these little stamping panels. And then you have 2 more strips of the same size that I'm going to cut the same way. So once again, 11, 8¼ 5½, 2¾ Now what's nice about having all these panels is that you can make another batch of cards, or like let's say you mess something up and you want to try again, you got the bonus free blank side that you can stamp again. So you don't have to worry about being perfect. You have multiple chances. I'm going to swap out my trimmer here and grab my score pal. All right, I hope everyone's still following along okay. Remember I told you set these bigger pieces aside to be scored. And I'm gonna do a little flip when I score this. So it goes in horizontally into the score pal, and I will score it 3¼ So I'll just take my little metal tip stylus here, find 3¼ engage in the channel and pull back toward me. Then I'm gonna take the same paper, bring the bottom up to the top. So I flipped it this way and score at 6½. And I'm going to bring this next piece in and repeat. So that was 3¼ flip bottom to top, 6½. Twice more. So 3¼ flip, score at 6½. One last time on this beautiful green, 3¼ flip, 6½. All right, that means all the scoring is done, all the trimming is done for our 4 zigzag gift card holders, and I'll set aside my score pal. And the next thing I can do is grab my bone folder. If you don't have one, I do have a favorite. And again, after the show, we'll have all the links available for you in the show description. So I'm going to find the bump of the score line. Here's one. And make sure when I fold it that the bump goes on the inside of the fold. I see a lot of people doing that inside out, and it's really designed to work the other way. So here's another bump, and I'm going to bury that bump. Remember when we flipped while we were scoring? That is a directive for how to fold. So whenever you find a bump, bury it. That's a good way to remember. Bury the bump, and then flip it over. Here's the other bump, bury it. And you just folded this into a perfect set of thirds, basically, and everything is looking so good already for our cards. Okay, so now I have my little zigzags and I have my organizer full of all of the pieces that we trimmed, and I'm glad I organized them a little bit. So I'm going to start out with my 4 card bases. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Then I'll take my printed panels and look at how they just nest perfectly. I call this process the deal. So I'm dealing out all the things that go onto the cards into their individual card piles. And then I'm going to take, let's see, my zigzags, okay, and distribute those. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I've got, oh, these are all my stamping panels. So I'm going to set those aside. This narrow piece that's in our organizer here actually becomes the part where that holds the gift card. That's why it's a little shorter. And I've calculated it so it's all going to fit perfectly. So I'll put a green on top of the teal to vary the color, and the teal on top of the green. Next, I have all of these other panels. So I'm going to take an alternating colors again. So this will be, excuse me, this will be on the inside, and I'm going to put another green on the top. This will be on this inside. I'll put the green on top. This will be on the inside, and I'm going to put the teal on top, and so on. So you do see how I'm just like passing out all the colors. Okay. And then I still have more. So I can take a print and put that on the inner panel here, and maybe I'll put one here. And then I'm going to put one here and here. Finally, each one will get something that I can stamp on. All right, so this is where the fun can begin. I've done all of the math so you can efficiently use the papers that you probably already own. And now once the trimming is done, then the creative fun can begin, right? So for that, I'm going to grab, one other thing I can quick show you now. I had this queued up so I wouldn't forget. That little narrow piece that I said was going to become the part that has the gift card. I'm going to use an envelope punch board because it's handy. And this right now is 4 1/4 inches wide. I'm going to put this in my punch board at 2 1/8, which is half of 4 1/4, meaning my punch will land now in the center. And now I've got a thumb notch in my little narrow piece there. I'll quick grab this. And again, that measurement is 2 1/8. Now, another thing you can use for this process would be like a circle punch or a circle cutting die. Then you just can either eyeball your destination as far as centering or measure it. Again, the center of that piece is going to be 2 1/8 if you feel comfortable with those measurements. And I'll get rid of my little scraps here. And I'm going to grab something to protect my work surface. Earlier, I dropped an ink pad on my wood table, and I had to sand it off. So I've learned, and now I'm ready to go with some stamping. I'm using a stamp positioner. I usually do, especially if I'm making a higher volume of cards. And that way it can just go a lot faster and be more precise. If the image doesn't stamp perfectly on the first chance, I got as many chances as I need. So I'm grabbing from my hubless DVD case. These are images from the Inspired collection. I'm going to grab this cute little peacock because, and I'm just going to double check my fit here. And I'm going to have the sentiments going to be, darling, you were born to stand out. I love that. Okay, so there's my peacock. I've laid it where I want it to go on my little sheet, and then I'm just going to pick it up with my positioning tool. And I've got my inks ready to go here. I'm using the Club Scrap Ocean ink pad. And because I haven't stamped this yet, I would say it's not very well loaded with ink. So I'm probably going to plan on stamping it twice. One. Oh, that looks pretty good. But if I wanted to, I could stamp it again, which is why I always use my positioning tool. And again, I'm usually not making one card. I'm typically making many. So that's why I set myself up for success by removing the possibility of, that went so well. Oh, I'm live and it's working. All right, so I have these little magnets that kind of hold it in place just in case there's movement. It's like a printing press now, right? That's what's so fun about these little positioning tools. And of course, our lovely ink. I love the ocean color. It's probably one of my favorites. Okay. Oh, I see I missed a spot. No big deal. I can re-ink and drop it again. Okay, so I'm going to do my fancy cleaning method, a lint-free rag, and then Peacock goes back on my case. And then, darling, you were born to stand out. Did I pull that off already? Okay, so I'll move my magnet, and I'm going to add that here. And I'm going to use Remember That, and I'm going to use that kind of right around here. So that looks pretty good for placement. I'll close it, and now I'm going to work with a different color. I'm going to add our India Black, one of my other favorite inks. Just make sure you have both images. When I did this the first time, I got to make sure my magnet isn't going to get stamped on. I did them separately. Oh, look at that. Perfect. I got a little smudge of ink on this one. So then the good news would be that I can go back and stamp the other side, but I'm actually going to be using some washi tape. So I'm not too worried about that. My printing press is open for business. I thought, if I'm live, I wonder how long it's going to take to make all of these cards. But, how long have I been live? I love when everything works the way you want. Yes, Julie, exactly. I do love it when it works the way I want. And that's not always the case. Like the first time I set up my, 8 minutes and 41 seconds. No, I'm a little longer than that. I'm at 21 minutes. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. When I was setting up my first scheduled live, I didn't do it right, so I had to delete it. And I was like 15 minutes out. And I'm like, oh, am I going to be able to make this happen? But I did. And here we are, stamping our hearts out. Oh, I'm really happy with that. Once again, I'll do a little wipe. As you can tell, I'm not real particular about my stamps being completely clear. And I do like that they're clear though, and that I can see what's going on with them. The last little thing now, I'm going to bring these in, and I've got some washi tape. This too was part of the Inspired kit, and I had that little thumbprint on there, so I'm going to try to cover that up. Washi tape is so much fun, and this was such a great match. It's got the gold metallic in there, and I think I should have enough. I've been using this on my pages and the previous 4 cards that I designed, these 4 cards. So I should have plenty of yardage here. Oop. There we go. And my last one, and then I'm going to show you how I adhere all of these panels. Again, just making super quick work of it all. And I hope all of this is making sense to you and that you'll come back and follow along and give this a try. So at this point, I kind of know what's going on. I've got this piece needs adhesive, and this is going to go on it. This will go in the middle. This will go on the bottom, and this will be part of my base. So I'm going to add adhesive to the larger panel, this nesting panel, the sentiment, and the other nesting panel. And I'm using my ATG, and that is a really nice, sturdy adhesive that goes for miles and miles. It's wonderful for card making. And notice I didn't add adhesive to the little gift card holder. For that, I'm going to be using my Club Scrap book binding glue dispensed from a needle tipped applicator. So I'm just going to go around the outer perimeter here, just like that. That's all you need. And add this. Oh, I did forget to put the happy birthday on here, but that's okay. You get the idea. I stamped a happy birthday on that. No, I stamped something else. What did I stamp? Proud of you, I think. Oh, you are amazing. I placed that right down in there. We'll skip that for now. Okay, one last magic trick for you for the card assembly is the ruler trick. I want to make sure this is centered onto the card base. So I'm going to add my adhesive, and I'm going to place my ruler so it's 1/2 inch from the edge of the card base itself, so the aqua piece. And then I'm going to bring it 1/2 inch. I'm centering it basically. So it's 1/2 inch from this edge, and this edge. And now I know it's perfectly centered. Okay, and then you'll need a A2 style envelope. And just to prove a point, I really can go quickly with assembling the rest of these pieces while we hang out and just chat up a little bit how this works as a monthly situation at Club Scrap. So essentially, we design a complete collection every single month, and we've done this every single month for, let's see now, 26 years. So this is our 26th monthly, 26th annual. So every month, take 26 times 12, and that's how many kits we have released at Club Scrap, plus all the other special collections we released during the middle of the month and things like that. And we've had members that have been with us for 20 plus years, which is pretty amazing. So you can subscribe to receive a kit in the mail each month, whether if you like making scrapbook pages or cards. We have an individual kit for each of you. And in our page kits, you make a total of 8 layouts. Oh, look at that. I love it. 8 layouts a month that are 12 by 12, fully embellished. And if you're in the card club, we do something very similar to what we just did now. So in other words, we will sort all of our paper that is provided. We'll trim it together. We'll score it. And we'll stay organized in like that little organizer that I showed you. We'll keep everything organized. We'll make 4 each of 3 different card styles. So sometimes we'll have fun cards like this that have a little bit of kinetic action to them. Sometimes they'll be nice, simple A2 style cards. And our card kits include the envelopes, which is super nice. So when you're done with the workshop, you'll be able to complete all 12 cards. You'll have the knowledge and the video to do it. And it is so much fun. The card club is actually one of our most quickly growing memberships. I mean, the page membership has always been our largest because we've been doing that the longest. But the card membership has become very popular because people are realizing how awesome and efficient their card making can be if they follow along with my method. And I've been developing this particular method for a really long time. So every month too, I try to make it so it's unique. You're learning something new. I'm learning something new, like this card structure is new to me, and we're learning it together. But again, we're learning it in a different way other than just, hey, take some papers of this size and cut them down and you're on your own. We just do it all together, which I completely love. So soon I'll be filming all of the workshops for the July kit, and we'll be making those cards together at the beginning of next month. So it's like a monthly workshop in a box, basically. And this is my final and 4th zigzag gift card holder. And I am ready for graduation season. Yay! I love it. Okay, so I'm going to test how this goes here. Yay, here I am. I'm back. Whew. I worked up a little sweat there. You know, with the lights and stuff, it's a lot of action. So I'm just really glad that I got to do this live with you. So whether you were able to watch it live or maybe you tuned in on the replay, feel free to leave me a like and give a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check the description later on for the link to these awesome and helpful instructions, and then re-watch the video at your very own pace to make your set of zigzag gift card holders. Be sure you subscribe to our Club Scrap channel, and I look forward to seeing you in another workshop soon. Thanks for joining me today.